It is Showtime Pro Wrestling coming up to Rice Lake in a couple weeks on October the 14th at the Elks Club. I'm James Weingard from Rice Lake Community Media, and we are so proud to have a partnership with Showtime Pro Wrestling. And I have with me the owner, promoter of Showtime, and that is Troy Brostrom. Hi, Troy.
Hi, James.
How are you?
Doing great. It's great to be here.
Thank you so much for coming over to visit with us today and talk about what we hope is going to be a wonderful event here on the 14th.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so far everything has gone really well here and the other events that we've run. So we are very excited about this.
You know, it's interesting because I think a lot of people are, if they're wrestling fans, they are familiar with the big guys. You know, the one from Connecticut and the other one that used to be in Georgia. Now there's another one that's in Florida and things like that. But the I suppose independent circuits,
yes,
are really now and always have been kind of the bread and butter of the professional wrestling industry, right?
Absolutely, yeah. A lot of the guys that are under contract with WWE or AEW, most of them started in independent wrestling, like what we're doing. So, yeah, you never know. You could see a future star on the 14th.
It would be wonderful, and my understanding, and we'll talk a little bit more specifically about the event here in a few minutes, but my understanding is one of Rice Lake's own that will be making his debut.
Yes, that's very exciting. Salem Lasher. His dad, Logan Lasher, was a wrestler for 16 years on the independent circuit. And so, yeah, his son is debuting October 14th from here in Rice Lake. So
now, Rice Lake people, you've got a big opportunity here to come out and see one of your very own.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's going to be great, and I'm sure the crowd will be all amped up for him.
Oh, for sure. I've heard a lot of good things already. A lot of people are excited about it. So, yeah, we're looking forward to this.
So let me ask about Showtime Pro Wrestling itself. Give me a little bit of the history of it.
Sure. It started in 2017. It was a friend of mine, and his son was in Special Olympics in Eau Claire, and they were looking to do a fundraiser for the Special Olympics program. And he asked if I'd be interested in putting on a wrestling event, and I thought about it for a while and decided, sure, I'll try it. And it was at the Eagles Club in Lake Hallie, and it went so well that we just started running consistently after that.
So 17, so we're in 23 now, so a 6-year-old organization.
Right, yep.
And how many wrestlers do you currently have? And do they cycle through? They go to other groups and then come back?
Yeah, they're all basically independent, so they take their bookings wherever in the Midwest area. So I'd say we've probably had close to 100 wrestlers, yeah, over the last 6-7 years.
And do you have a core group that
yes,
basically go around to each of the locations?
Yeah, there's a core group of guys that we use on a regular basis, and then we cycle in different people to freshen things up too. So
very interesting. And of course, with the big guys, they do weekly episodic shows, and the storylines run through all of these, but it has to be a little bit more difficult at a level like what we're talking about here. There's still storylines, and there's still champions, and there's still the discussions as to what goes on, and who's hating who and who's fighting whom, and all that sort of thing, right?
Yep, absolutely, yeah. But it does make it a little more difficult when there's no contracts and they can go work wherever they want, the other wrestlers. So it's difficult to manage all of that.
I bet. But now here, the Rice Lake event is going to be on the 14th, and then you're going to have another one in Eau Claire a few weeks later, correct?
November 4th at the American Legion on Water Street in Eau Claire. So we're also looking forward to that, and that's about 3 weeks in between the shows.
Yeah, so. And what happens out of the Rice Lake event? will probably have some impact on what goes on at the
Yes.
Eau Claire event.
Absolutely, yep. Yeah, we try to continue the storylines as much as we can, but also keep in mind that some of the people that come to Rice Lake don't necessarily come to Eau Claire. So it's kind of a fine line to balance it.
We can mention, because Troy told me that I could. You are indeed a professional wrestler,
Yes, yes,
and will be participating on the 14th.
yes, correct.
Rad Lightning. So
Yes.
Rad Lightning fans, here's your guy, and he'll be in a match on the 14th. How did you get started?
Well, I was actually going to college here in Rice Lake at UW Barron County. And I was going to college, and I played on the basketball team for the Chargers. And I knew that my time in college was coming to an end. I needed a break. And a friend of mine saw an ad in the local paper for a wrestling camp in the cities run by former AWA and WWF star Ken Patera.
Aha, the world's strongest
The
man.
world's strongest man,
today.
yes. So I signed up for that and met up with Ken and went over and started the next weekend.
And when was it?
That was early 1998.
98. Oh, wow. So,
Yes.
yeah, so you've been,
Yeah.
well, 25 years this year.
25 years, yeah.
Wow, wait.
Yeah.
So, what drew you to it? I mean, outside of your college, as you mentioned, your college time coming to
Yeah.
an end. And,
Well, just I was a fan since I was a little kid. So, and I didn't know that there was like local independent wrestling either. And I don't know if there was too much of it back then, but it started in the late 90s. So yeah, I just saw the opportunity and went for it.
sure. So, with Showtime, where do you find your talent?
Well,
Is it a lot of word of mouth, or is it just people that you personally know of, or otherwise?
yeah. So there's quite a few wrestlers that are on the circuit that are in the Midwest area, in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, and I just reach out to the guys that I know. It's word of mouth. A lot of it is, this guy's pretty good. You should get him on here. This kind of thing.
Not to be flippant about it, but there's not. It doesn't strike me that there would be like a Craigslist of professional wrestlers.
No,
or
there
something.
isn't. Yeah,
No.
no. It's all basically word of mouth from other wrestlers and promoters, and
It's interesting because I suppose the recruiting aspect of it, if we're talking sports or that dreadful term of sports entertainment, but it is recruitment,
Right.
to bring people in to Showtime or to pick your local wrestling organization. And
Yes.
and Wisconsin, is a really kind of a hotbed of the local organizations. I know the Fox Valley has quite a couple of them at least, and this area has what, two or three for sure.
Right. Yep.
And then probably there's one or two down. I know there's at least one that I can think of in Milwaukee. And
Yes,
and,
there's several. Yeah, Milwaukee and Green Bay are really good areas for pro wrestling, and then this area is growing too. So it's and then of course Minneapolis.
Oh,
in
sure.
the cities has a lot.
Yeah.
So
And I suppose there's probably some crossover between or among
yes,
all of them. Yeah.
Yes, a lot of the guys wrestle in all the areas as often as they can. It's good experience.
It is.
Different areas. So.
It's just fascinating to me because growing up in the Fox cities in the middle or late 70s, early 80s, watching AWA, Vern Gagne and Greg Gagne and Jim Brunzell and
Yep.
all those guys, names all familiar to you.
Exactly. Yes.
And then from your perspective, getting them, I suppose, to a degree, to be kind of contemporaries, it just had to be a thrill for you.
It was unbelievable. I remember my second match for Ken Patera's company. I was in the locker room with a lot of the guys you mentioned, Jim Brunzell and Ken Patera, Barry Von Raschke, and Mad Dog Vachon, and all those guys were there. Not all wrestling. Some of them were just there to sign autographs and things. But yeah, it was surreal being in the locker room with those guys that I grew up watching on Saturday mornings.
Right, or like in our case in Green Bay, late Saturday night. Yep.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, 10:30 and on I think Channel 11 or something like that. But
Okay, yeah.
yeah, see, it's ingrained in me at this point. But
Right.
let's talk a little bit or a lot of bit
Yeah.
about what we're expecting to see on the 14th here in Rice Lake. As a matter of fact, while we have a second here, I'm gonna. Oops, that's not the one I wanted. There we go. That's the one I wanted. And now I'm in big trouble because I lost my screen over there. But that's all right. So this is the promotional poster for what is being called Redemption.
Yes.
And why is this Redemption?
Well, it's a chance. It's a big title shot. Our main event is for the Showtime Pro Wrestling Championship. Aaron Sacrifice gets his shot at the real Brock Hall, who's the current champion.
Okay.
So Aaron Sacrifice has been slowly climbing the ladder in Showtime, and now he's the #1 contender, and so he gets his shot.
And it's a big deal. I mean,
is.
it doesn't make any difference. I don't think if it's obviously if you're in the big time, then it's a really big deal.
Right.
But even to be able to carry a title for a local promotion, I mean
Exactly.
that still says a whole lot.
It is, yeah, it does, and it's an honor to have that chance, and yeah, Aaron Sacrifice gets his shot, and we call it Redemption because he's had run-ins with the real Brock Hall before, so he's looking at get a little redemption on that.
Sure.
On what happened in the past.
Oh, are we previewing? Are we maybe hinting at something that may be coming down the pike?
Well, I mean, I have no idea, but all I know is that he gets his shot.
He
his
gets
chance.
right, and yes, he gets his shot, and Aaron Sacrifice has been here. I know. Well, he certainly was here in April, and I think he was here the time before last spring or
Yes.
last fall. When actually we first got connected, but he's really a good wrestler and an up and comer.
Absolutely, yes. He's actually from Chippewa Falls, so not too far. And he's been wrestling a while, and so, like I said, he's slowly climbing the ranks here, and this is a big night for him to get his shot at the champion. So this will be fun.
And how many other? I think there's six matches on the card.
6 matches in total.
Okay.
Other matches, one that I'm really looking forward to is Riley Jackson against Adam Grace. And Riley Jackson is one of the top wrestlers in the Twin Cities area. Adam Grace is one of the top wrestlers in the Green Bay area. So.
Oh, they meet in the middle.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
So this will be exciting. They both had recently tryouts with AEW. So. Yeah, these are two excellent wrestlers.
So talking about potential stars that we could see in the future in the big circuits.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely, young guys. So
one match that I am very interested in seeing is you.
Yes,
And
Jason Rage.
right.
And he is a young guy that was out of the academy in the Twin Cities, trained by former WWE star Mr. Kennedy or Ken Anderson.
Yep.
So yeah, I always like to see what these young guys have, and Jason Rage. It should be a good time.
It should. We may throw a clip in here, maybe not, depending upon how ambitious I get. But
Sure.
Jason Rage, he came off of the top middle rope, top rope, in the April and. A flying headbutt into the, let's diplomatically call it the lower midsection of his opponent,
Right.
and everybody oohed and oh'd and
Yeah.
awed, and as they are wont to do. But I was talking with somebody not long ago about the idea that regardless of what level you're on, in order to do what you do. And as we say, you've been doing it now 25 years,
Yes.
and others have been doing it, longer or shorter or whatever. But I don't think, in my opinion, that people give you guys the credit that you deserve for the bumps that you take.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think that comes with the whole idea of wrestling being fake. And like my doctors and chiropractors would argue that. Um, but yeah, it is. It's a very athletic form of entertainment.
Right.
And you do have to be athletic and an athlete to be able to do this and survive.
And I mean, I don't think we're letting the cat out of the bag here too much. That I mean, there's a certain, um, you know, dance quality or performance art to it,
Right.
which is not a big surprise, I
Right.
imagine. However, to take a fall off of well, the top rope is probably what, 5 feet off the mat,
Yes.
something like that.
Yes.
And if you're going up there and you've got two 200-pounders or 250-pounders, I don't care what it is. I mean, you've got a little thin mat, and then there's literally 2x4s that line the bottom of the ring.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is. That's going to hurt at some point.
Yeah, you can't fake gravity.
No, that's the best line I've ever heard. That's wonderful.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, there's bumps to be taken, and
Yes.
your ring isn't as high up as what we see in other places,
Right.
from the apron down to the floor. But I mean, there's still no comfort to
Land
get
on
thrown onto a wooden floor from whether it be off get pushed off the top, or just go through. And
Right.
we saw his name is escaping me at the moment. He wrestled Brock Hall last time.
Oh,
Kyle Pro, yes.
Yes.
He did a flying head dive through the middle ropes and actually landed in somebody's lap in the front row, which was fantastic, by the way.
Right. Yeah, it's basically like live action, stunt work almost, but yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It is. Well, I can't say it is because I've never done it, nor do I really particularly care to. But from what I know of the short discussions that I've had with people actually in the business, you and others, I get the impression that you guys get as much out of this as what us as viewers do.
Oh, yes, I would agree with that. Yeah, the guys that are in it, they don't ever want to stop. So that tells you something.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it's fun, and it's fun to perform in front of a crowd that's very much into it and taking part and cheering or booing or whatever. Any kind of reaction is what we want. So.
Well, that's somebody, Jesse Ventura or somebody said that if you can get into the psychology of the viewer, the audience member, whether it's the live audience or the, like in our case, viewing audience, that is, and you can make them feel what you are anticipating. That Paul Heyman is well quoted about this. If you can make them feel what you want them to feel,
Yep.
Game over. You've won.
Yep. That's what we go for.
Yeah.
So that's the goal.
It's just fascinating. It's wonderful. Yep. We have here at Rice Lake Community Media, we've got a long history of professional wrestling on our TV channels, and going back probably, about 25, 30 years, and at least 2 directors ago. And the fact now that we've been able to partner up with you guys in Showtime Pro Wrestling, we had such great feedback on our broadcast from the April event, and we're so happy that we're able to tag team up with you again.
Yes.
in this one for Redemption. And we have a lot of fun with it, of course, but one thing that we also need to mention is that some of the proceeds that are raised from this event are going to a really good cause.
Absolutely, yeah. The Elks Lodge is the proceeds from the concessions are going to the Elks Foundation, which is a tremendous organization. So, Yeah, come out on the 14th and have some fun, have a good time, and you're also helping out a good cause.
Right. Yeah, we are very much looking forward to it. We're going to have our whole crew there and our whole staff, and Kyle and Travis will be announcing
Yes,
again. Yep.
yes, Kyle Eggleston from right here in Rice Lake.
Coach
And-
Kyle.
Yes, Coach Kyle, and Travis Lee, who was also a longtime pro wrestler that I've known. I've known both Kyle and Travis since the late '90s. So
Sure.
they're an excellent commentary team. So yeah.
And ring announcer.
Ring announcer is Adam Hutton
Right.
from right here in Rice Lake as well.
Yeah,
So-
I just talked to Adam a little bit last night, and he's like, "You guys are going to come and do the broadcast again, right?" I said, "Yep, absolutely. We wouldn't miss it."
Yeah, that's great.
So
And
yeah,
Adam's wonderful. So yeah,
he really is, and we had lots of familiar faces to be seen and new faces to learn about as we get ready for this event. And again, Showtime Pro Wrestling coming to the Elks Lodge here in Rice Lake on Saturday night, October 14th. The doors open at 6 o'clock, bell time at 7 o'clock, and again, concessions will benefit the Elks Foundation. If people have questions about tickets or anything like that,
Yeah,
how can
they
they find them?
they can contact the Showtime Pro Wrestling Facebook page and send a message. We can reserve front row seats, so if you would like a front row ticket, you can just contact the Showtime Pro Wrestling Facebook page.
And get sweated on and spit on, and maybe have a wrestler or two land in your lap, and just like they say in arena football, if they do land in your lap, make sure that you throw them back.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you can't keep them as
Yeah,
a souvenir.
No, you can't. You can maybe get an autograph on an
Absolutely, yeah.
arm or something like that, or various body part or something. But so yeah, we're looking forward to it. We can't wait, and we hope that we see you at the Elks Lodge on the 14th for Showtime Pro Wrestling and Redemption, and we will see you at the arena and in the ring. Very
Sounds
good,
good,
Troy. Thanks so
absolutely.
much for the time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.